Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm MF Gaming and today I'll be playing Kerbal Space Program for you. I'll be playing in career mode. Now the very first thing that you have to do in career mode is choose your flag. I really like the retro flag, so I'll go ahead and go with that. Now there's a few things that you need to know about Kerbal Space Program before you get started. One, it's not a flight simulator and it's not exactly a sandbox building game. It's a bit of both. And I'll be playing in career mode, so it's not a free-form sandbox. What happens is you've got limited resources. You have funds, you have reputation, and you have science. Funds you use to buy and launch rockets. Reputation, I haven't quite figured out exactly what reputation does, except for perhaps it gives access to better contracts. And science allows you to research new components, which allows you to do more and bigger fun things. At the very beginning here, Gene and a couple of the other Kerbals at the Kerbal Space Program Center here are going to have some things to say to us. Gene says, "Nice to meet you. I'm Gene Kerman, Flight Director, and your guide for this quick introduction. This is the Space Center. From here you can manage all aspects of the space program. Feel free to have a look around. Hold the right mouse button to move the camera, or use the arrow keys." Well, thanks Gene, that's plenty. We'll go ahead and dive right in here. We're going to accept a couple of contracts. Let's see, launch a new vessel, set altitude record of 5,000 meters, escape the atmosphere, or orbit Kerbin. Well, we're going to launch a new vessel, and we're going to set an altitude record of 5,000 meters. Now, why aren't we going to go ahead and go straight for escape the atmosphere and orbit Kerbin? Because if we do that, we lose out on 2 or 3 additional steps in the altitude records, which robs us of quite a bit of money for the early game. Now, doing it this way maximizes our finances, basically. So I'll show you the science department here. This is what we'll have to unlock next, but we don't have enough money for that yet, so we're not going to unlock that yet. After our first mission, we'll have plenty of well, money, I said money, science to unlock it. There's a few other buildings. There's the vehicle assembly building, which is where you build your rockets. There's I showed you mission control, the space plane hangar, where you build airplanes to launch on the runway, which is just a dirt road, probably better for drag racing than launching airplanes. There's the launch pad, which is just a chunk of cement on another pad of dirt. The tracking station, which is where you can monitor all of your active flights, and the location of the additional planets too. And then the research and development, which we saw. The astronaut complex, where you can hire new astronauts. Right now we have just the 3 main guys, Jeb, Bill, and Bob. They're pretty awesome. We'll stick with them for a while. And then there's the administration building, where you can adopt any number of, well, any of these policies to assist in your program. Basically, you can convert money into reputation or science, or any of these into any of these others. But we're not going to play with that just yet. Right now, we're just going to complete this one very simple contract that we've been given to build a rocket and launch it to 5,000 meters. That's all we're going to do. And we're going to build a Mark 1 command pod, and we're going to stick a rocket on the bottom of that, a solid fuel rocket, and a little parachute. And this is the absolute cheapest thing we can do. And then under our science tab here, we have an antenna, and we're going to just pop that on right there. Okay, so there's our ship, and now all we have to do, well, we only need to go to 5,000 meters, so I don't need all of this fuel. You see, there's the thrust limiter and the solid fuel. I don't need all of that. I only need about little right about there. That'll be plenty, about half. And then the staging is here. You can see I hover over this and it lights up the rocket boosters. Let's get that off of there. And parachute. Those are the only 2 things I have which I can activate. And right now, the way they're set up, they're going to activate at the same time. Now, I don't want my rocket shooting up into my parachute. That's bad. I want my rocket to fire first, and then later my parachute to engage. That's going to give old Jeb here the best chance of returning home safely. And now the rocket's built, I'm going to go ahead and give it a name. I'm going to call it, very creative here, Kerbal 1. And I'm going to save that. I don't know why. It's 4 pieces, whatever, but that's my rocket. Now let's go. Let's fly this puppy. In the last patch, 0.90, the Kerbals were given professions. Jeb's a pilot. I think it's Bill is the engineer and Bob is the scientist, and that gives them different perks. Now this one, we're not going to be building or repairing anything, and we're not going to be doing any real science. So Jebediah is the best for this because he has the ability to assist you with stability, and that's great. Now I'm sitting on the pad, and like I said, it's a chunk of cement on a bunch of dirt. But I suppose it's just the starting level, very basic stuff. You can upgrade all of these structures as you go. They just cost money, quite a bit of money, some of them, but you'll be able to make all of that money eventually. Now, I stuck an antenna on here for one reason here. I'm going to take a crew report, and you record the crew's assessment of the situation. We haven't launched yet, and then I'm going to transmit that back. And the reason I'm going to do that is so that I can take another crew report while we're in flight. And that's going to give me the maximum amount of science for this little trip Jeb's going on. Now that's done, so I'm going to have Jeb hop out and completely fall off of the ship here. Okay, well, that's not what I wanted him to do. Good job, Jeb. You're awesome, bud. Okay, so I'm going to have to recover Jeb, and I'm going to have to recover his rocket, and I'm going to have to try that again without Jeb falling like a moron out of the hatch. Woo! Face planting like a complete idiot. Thanks, Jeb. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and recover that. It's not the best. And then we're just going to relaunch it. Kerbal 1 right there. I'm just going to relaunch that. We got a little bit of science for that. It's not quite how I wanted to get it, but we got it. Anyway, now we're not even going to give Jeb the option to be such an idiot this time. I'm going to shoot him straight up in the air. And here we go. Now I press T on my keyboard, the T key, and that's what engages Jeb's stability assistance there. And also, it's a good idea to note that the steering is WASD. Probably pretty familiar with that. But something that's new here is if you press the Z or Z key, it'll give you max thrust instantly, and if you press X, zero thrust instantly, which saves you a lot of time, you know, between throttling up and down using shift and control. I really like that that Z key addition. That's changed the way I play the game in certain ways. But anyway, we're on the pad. We're ready to go. Jeb is not diving out of the hatch, so let's give this a go. And we have liftoff. Space bar, of course, activates your different stages. Now we're in flight, so I'm going to take another crew report. And since we have the electricity, how much electric charge do we have? 50. I don't think we'll have enough to make 2 transmissions, no. But we have the juice, so take one, send it off. And we need to get to 5,000 meters. It's looking kind of tight. But then we can take another crew report once we land. And now we just wait for it to finish burning out its fuel. You see it's overheating here, but that's not a problem. It's going to run out of fuel way before it gets hot enough to damage itself. Oh wow, you see those G-forces just skyrocket when the fuel burned out. Alright, oh, we made it. Now, I could deploy my parachute right now. We've already met the criteria we needed to complete our 2 contracts. You can see right there, they're done. But I'm not going to deploy the parachute yet because it'll deploy at this altitude, but it'll cause it just takes a long time to float down, so I'll wait until last minute. And I think it deploys at 500 meters, fully deploys, so we'll pop it out at about 600 meters. It's also important to note that this altimeter here does not measure distance above the ground. If you come in here, you can see your radar altitude, and that measures distance from the ground. What this measures is distance above sea level. So I'm not landing on the sea, so this is not an accurate measurement. If I go by this before deploying my parachute, I could very easily just smash into the ground, and it's even worse when you're over by those mountains or anything like that. So there's a difference between sea level and the ground. And this is measuring sea level, not the ground. Oh, hey, and there's the other little airstrip over there. We'll go visit that sometime. We're just doing very basic missions here. We're going to take a bunch of different contracts and just work our way up, work our way through. I'm not going to push really fast into any crazy stuff. Just going to build up kind of nice and slow at an easy pace, let you see how everything works. Hopefully, maybe if you're new to the game, it'll help you to keep up a little bit. Eventually, we'll be doing things like going to Duna and building space stations around Jewel and just whatever we can imagine to do. But to start out, we're just going to take whatever simple contracts we get. We're going to complete them and just bank a bunch of money, and we'll get crazy later when we're a little more comfortable with the game. And right now, Jeb's just having a blast, falling back. He's experiencing, well, it says 1G, but really I think he should be experiencing negative G's right now. Well, it does go to the negative, but I've never actually seen it drop into the negative G's. Anyway, he's having an absolute blast. Look at that guy. Yeah, you're the same idiot that face planted out of the hatch just a few minutes ago. But we'll let Jeb come down, and we'll probably end the video there. I realize we didn't do much, but we saw some of the basics. We'll build a more advanced. You know what? I'll do one more. I'll hit the next altitude record here before we end the video. It's going to use the exact same ship. I'm just going to jack it up to full fuel instead of half, and that way we can get done with the most boring flights and get on to some more interesting stuff at the very beginning of the next video. Oh, there's the moon, and what's fun about that is you can actually go there, land on it, and then look back at Kerbal, which is kind of fun. Now we're down to 2,000 meters above sea level, and about 600 I'm going to deploy the chute, and it should fully deploy just immediately afterwards. You'll see the G-forces skyrocket. I don't have deadly re-entry or any of those kind of mods installed right now. What I do have is I've got Kerbal Attachment System, and I've got B9 Aerospace, which just adds a bunch of new parts. The Kerbal Attachment System allows me to build bigger and better and more interesting ships they're just sturdier. Without that, when you get too big, your ships tend to oscillate a lot and they can rip themselves apart. And 800 meters now, and the chute deploys. And Kerbal Attachment System allows you to do things like add struts while you're in orbit. You can wow, 15 Gs. You can do orbital construction to a certain degree, which allows you to build bigger ships in pieces instead of just as one big construction in the hangar. It's really good for things like interplanetary ships or space stations, and I really like playing around with that. So I've got Kerbal Attachment System, and I've got B9 Aerospace just because I like the parts that adds. I think they're pretty. And right now I'm going to turn on time acceleration, get us down to the surface, and you're going to see some explosions when we get down there. This rocket booster is not able to take the hit at 7.8 meters per second, so it's not strong enough. It's going to be wrecked, which is too bad. We won't get the money for it, but it will cushion it enough that Jeb will survive just fine. Now here we go, and there it is. Alright, mission completed, and he is down. Now we're going to take another crew report. Nope, it's the same one. Never mind. But I think we can get a new EVA. Just get as much science as possible at all times. And there we go. And have him drop. Whoa. Did you see what he's doing? Look at this. Jeb, stop. Don't let the other guys see you doing that. What are you doing? And he falls down and right back up. Okay, and another EV. Nope, it's the same one. So we'll just have him. Where are you going, Jeb? Get back on board, and we'll collect the whole thing. Recover the vessel. There we go. And like I said, we'll do one more really quick launch here, and then we'll call that it. I'm going to use the same ship, but I do need to go into the hangar. Thank you. Yeah, that just shows you all the different stuff you see. I got science for an EVA report and recovery. This is the money I got back for the collected parts that I landed safely. And then Jeb, of course, he got no XP because, well, he's already done it, I guess. I don't know. I think that must be it. Now, I could go unlock some science right now, but I'm not going to. We'll save that for next time. I'm going to just modify the amount of fuel that I've got in here to max, and I'm not going to send Jeb this time. Jeb can stay back. I'm going to send Bill, get him a little bit of experience. Jeb wouldn't get any new experience for this anyway. He's already done this flight. And, oh shoot, I need to pick up the contract still. Alright. Gotta wait for it to load. Alright, there we go. And delete that. And this is just telling us the contracts that we completed on the last flight. I'm going to leave him right there on the pad. I'm going to go to the Space Center, and I'm going to collect those, that contract that I forgot to pick up. And what it's going to say is it's going to tell me to launch a ship to 11,000 meters, I believe. Visual survey, there it is, right there. That's the one we want. We'll take that, and you can see I get $5 grand for that, $6 grand, and then I'm going to launch that. There we go. This is just a very straightforward. It's basically the exact same thing we just did. And this last time we'll use this simple of a rocket. I think next time we'll have to use liquid fuel. And here we go. And we're off. Yeah, like I said, these first couple of missions are pretty boring, pretty basic. It'll be a little bit before we even get into space, but I have been playing the game for quite a while. I can do just about anything in this game. I've done it, and we're going to work our way up to that. I'm just not diving straight into it. And there we go, we hit 11,000. I pulled the parachute out to keep us from going too high up because I don't want to hit the next altitude or exit the atmosphere or anything like that without accepting the contract. It's all about the money right now. And like I said, I'm open to suggestions here. We can do whatever. We'll just have to build into it. If you want to see space stations in Duna, that's awesome. I'm okay with whatever. I'm open to suggestions for goals for this playthrough. I've just decided to take the contracts to show how that system works. There's a lot of sandbox videos out there, but I haven't seen much in the way of contract videos. So I've decided to do it that way, but still we can make plenty of money and do just about whatever. Just let me know what you want to see, and I'll do my best to make it happen. We're just going to let him free fall. Well, not really free fall. He does have his parachute out, but time accelerated. He's just going to fall back down. I didn't bother to take any crew reports or anything like that this time. We've already done it. He's just up and down. All he needed to do was hit that altitude marker, which he did just fine. Well, I hope you've enjoyed watching, and like I said, I'm excited to continue to post more content on this game. And if this isn't your cup of tea, I do have quite a few other games that I'd be happy to play. Just leave a like, a comment. Feel free to subscribe if you want, and I can't wait to see you next time. Thanks for watching. I've been MF Gaming.